Okay, hello. Just a warning, this isn't a political video or anything like that. I mean, it's kind of a religious video. But mostly it's going to be a waste of time unless you're into I don't know, analyzing pop culture. So yeah, this is basically an analysis of pop culture, and I don't know, something I noticed, and I find it fascinating. So I wanted to comment on it. Okay, so right off the bat here. When I was growing up, I was, I guess you could say, part of the counterculture of my generation. I was listening to, Marilyn Manson, Nine Inch Nails, those types of bands, um, and because I liked their message, and people in those days, everybody's like, oh, they're satanic, they're worshiping the devil, and I was already an atheist, so it didn't really affect me that much. I was more interested in the message that, hey, like for example, Marilyn Manson's Dope Show, which I'm going to link down below. In fact, I'm linking three examples of each artist I'm critiquing right now, just because I find it fascinating. But Marilyn Manson's Dope Show was not a celebration of drugs, but a warning. So, you know, so what? We're all part of the Dope Show. Well, anyhow, it was a warning. I can't remember the lyrics right now. Basically, he was saying, you do drugs and you might think it's fun, but, at the end of the day, you're going to be left, you know, alone and dead, basically, this type of thing. So it's a warning song. Don't do drugs. It worked for me. I didn't do drugs. um, But and then you go on. Marilyn Manson has critiques of politics, and another song, "Mob Scene." At the time of its release, the U.S. was, in my view, teetering on fascism. We were just full blown. Let's go to war. Let's just smash everything. Let's go to war. Let's go to war. And Mob Scene, in my opinion, deals with that aspect of what was going on at the time. You have Kang girls dressed up in basically Nazi uniforms, in my view, representing nationalism. But whereas they're beautiful and everything, so nationalism can be beautiful, but then you look at their face, half of it, it's skeletal. So it's representing death. So fascism, death, killing people, that type of thing. So it's a warning. Mob Scene is a warning. Hey, look around you. We are changing in a bad way. Um, Another song I'm going to link below of Marilyn Manson is Coma White, which I've always loved that song. But it's really weird because it's filled with Christian imagery. I'm an atheist, but I always valued, uh, you know, for better term, the moral rightness of certain Christian beliefs. Um, but yeah, it's kind of saying society's rejecting it. It's hypocrisy. And it's mostly it's basically kind of a song about the assassination of JFK and how JFK, John F. Kennedy, was ushering in a new era of positivity, progressivism, an age of science, development, and positive stuff. And then he got and it's kind of, in my view, a critique of that and saying how society has degenerated and it's not a good thing. But the weird thing about it is all the Christian imagery. I mean, there's not the closest thing to satanic imagery that I remember from the music video is a lady standing by a star on a, like a Hollywood star, and the star, she was on the inverse side, so it was pentagram, but she rose up from it crying. which is, kind of, I mean, if it's a satanic message, it's a weird satanic message because it's like the opposite of it, but whatever. Um, and growing up, everybody's always flipping out. It's like, oh, Satanism, satanic. He's spreading Satanism, and I never became a Satanist, but whatever. I guess you could say it helped me further along my atheism, but um, I would have became an atheist anyways. Um, but anyhow, yeah, I always found Marilyn Manson music had positive, like almost every single song was a positive message. It was either accusing society of hypocrisy or just downright wickedness, or it was just warning people, hey, don't do drugs, don't do this. To me, it was always positive, and he was a shock rocker. He's still considered a shock rocker, and he's still considered satanic and all that. And yeah, I know he was a member of the Church of Satan or whatever. Um, but his art and music never came across as trying to perpetuate Satanism or anything like that. It was more trying to perpetuate, hey, don't do, look around you, bad shit's happening, don't do drugs and that type of thing. Anyhow, now moving on to the other artist that is now a big pop star, which is, so she's not a shock rocker, she's a pop star. And in fact, she's a dance pop star, and her name's Kesha. Um, and I'm going to link three of her songs down below too. Just why not? So you can compare and contrast. Um, Now, her songs, I tried to find positive. There's not really a positive message in them. It's just like, hey, like the one that has like just blatant like in your face satanic references, like yeah, in your face satanic references, is so was it, you're gonna die young or whatever. And I mean, there's pentagrams, inverted crosses constantly, three triangles, representing the number of the beast, 666. But this is a pop song, it's not like a shock rock song. And but the message of the song is basically, oh, go party, get drunk, whatever. And that's just the message of the song. And then they're destroying shit and then the next song they're running around uh, destroying shit again. It's a consistent thing with their music is they're running around destroying shit. Um, but this one has, I mean, this one's a little bit harder to see any type of satanic messaging. But like one scene, like it was her or somebody else grabs this guy's back, and like sparkly dust starts coming out, but it's like where wings would be. So like wings are being ripped off, and sparkly dust is coming out. Um, yeah. Well, anyhow, that song also doesn't really have a positive message either, which is interesting. And the other song I linked down there, like she wakes up in somebody's house and just goes off and starts drinking again. I, and I'm not really knocking these things on moral bases or like as this is like immoral or right and wrong. It's just something I noticed and I find kind of just weird. So like, um, Marilyn Manson is considered like the great devil, but he's warning kids not to do drugs. He's just like warning kids about fascism. He's warning kids about all these dark things. Keep an eye out. Hey, watch out. And Kesha's just like, let's go get drunk. Let's do some drugs. Let's go party. And it's just like, wait a minute. Like, shouldn't like her message be like, I don't know, like, how's her message darker than Marilyn Manson? Like, that's just, to me, that just seems incredibly weird. Like, her message is like a pure satanic message. It's pure Satan. It's pure Satanism. And I don't know. I just find it fascinating as an atheist. I don't know, if I had kids, I'd be more, if I had a daughter and she was listening to Marilyn Manson, I would be more comfortable for listening to. Well, I listen. That doesn't make sense. She wouldn't be listening to Marilyn Manson. She'd be listening to something. She'd be listening to Kesha, and maybe it's a generational thing. Um, yeah. Well, anyhow, there's just something I noticed, and I thought it was kind of strange. Um, I don't know. Well, anyhow, the videos are linked below. You can watch them, and if you feel that my critique is wrong, just tell me I'm wrong. But I don't know. I think I might be right. But, whoa, wow. If you made it this far, cool.